Welcome to Emo Social Club. I'm Brian.
And I'm Lizzie, and we're here today with Anberlin, talking to them outside of their Salt Shed show here in Chicago. Thank you so much for hanging out with us.
I'm super proud of you for saying Salt Shed show.
I know. The alliteration there is really hard.
That's hard, yeah. Awesome. What's up?
We got Matty. We got Christian. What do you guys do in the band, you know?
I play guitar.
And sing.
And sing harmonies.
Yeah. I'm currently singing and doing the best I can. That's what we're doing.
Which is phenomenal.
Is this I know you've played some shows now that you've joined Anberlin. Is this the first tour, proper tour you've done so far?
Yeah, first tour. So I did a show with the band in Dallas that publicly looked like I was just filling in.
Yeah.
But we had already kind of been in the works of things, which made it significantly easier to just kind of pop in. And then I just did a couple songs in Tampa at both of the Farewell to Steven shows, and this is the actual first tour.
Gotcha.
Nice. How have bands been reacting so far when you come out on stage and it's, hey, Matty, what's up?
For the people that know, I mean, you see a lot of smiling faces. A couple funny interactions that I've had on this tour has been getting direct messages from Memphis fans after the show, like, dude, we had no idea. And when you walked out, we were losing our minds. Like, what is happening? What universe am I in right now? I mean, with algorithms and social media, it's like you just can't expect to reach everybody with an announcement, right? So there's going to be people that don't know, and honestly, it's kind of fun. It's kind of like a fun switch up to look out into the crowd and see whose eyes are doing what. But it's been good, man. I mean, I think there's loud voices on the internet, but the core Anberlin fans that make this band what it is are in it through thick and thin and supportive to the very end, and it's been really cool to see that. So,
hell yeah.
Nice.
I think when we first got the news, when we received the news, we were watching the YouTube video. We did a little YouTube video on it, oh, this is interesting, this is cool. We were
That's how I know you guys.
From the video.
Because I watched that.
No shit.
So when you guys came in, I was like, I know we've met.
No shit.
My God. No,
It's because I saw that.
I Googled because I knew that recently there was a couple interviews you had done with other people, but I don't think they were posted. I saw clips, so I was going to listen to them while I was filling out notes, and I said, wait, why are we one of the first two results here?
I mean, that video is still getting some people commenting on it now. I think
popped
they're
off,
finally
yeah.
getting the news, and they're like, well, let me see what's going on here.
Yeah.
I mean, we were obviously just okay, this is a change to a band that we love. How is this going to work? What's going to happen? A lot of questions.
Sure.
Yeah. But I mean, now you've announced you're working on a new record. You're working on music together with you in the singing role. My notes say it's called Vega, and it's out this
August 2nd.
On Equal Vision Records.
Those are all correct.
Good.
Yes,
Good
sir.
job, Lizzie.
Yeah. Well done.
I'm so...
Vega it's two EPs put together with two songs with me on it. So that's not an album with me.
Gotcha.
But rather just two songs that I'm on as a feature on that record.
Gotcha.
When we started tracking our first EP, Silverline, there was always the plan that we had in place with Equal Vision that we were going to do two EPs, combine them. It's a very common thing in the music industry now because you're slow dripping music.
Yeah.
And you have a culture that's very ADD and on to the next thing. So a lot of times you might drop a full record and someone's just not, now paying attention 2 weeks later to something else. So this is just a way that you can kind of slow drip over multiple years.
Yeah.
And then we always knew we were going to add a couple more songs when you added it, because what's the incentive if you just combine them, if you've already released them,
For
right?
sure, yeah.
And so we'd written new songs, and I think we were trying to figure out what the plan would be as a group, as 6 of us with Matty and Steven, and this was the plan we landed on, with Matty singing these two new songs. I think made the most sense and really pushed the whole thing forward.
Yeah, a lot of game time decisions. So I mean, that Dallas show being kind of predetermined, that's about the only thing that has been predetermined, right?
Okay.
It's aside from that, we're every day, having conversations about what's going to happen next, so fans are like, well, what? And we're just we're figuring it out. But yeah, man, all is well.
That's interesting.
Nice.
I mean, I feel like a lot of fans have those questions because they're like, the band has to tell me what they're doing.
Yeah.
It's no, I feel like, most bands, they want to enjoy the music that they make. They want to go and play shows. They want to enjoy the fans' reaction to that. And like all the other stuff is like, I don't know, like what the hell am I supposed to do? how
We're figuring it out as we go. I mean, we're writing the script as we go, and also the things that we do know. You don't need to know everything. Like, let it be a surprise. You know, there's cool things we're working on. Just trust. If you love the band and you are fans of this band, you would trust us that we're making the best decisions that we can for everyone involved, ourselves and our fans.
Hell yeah.
100%. Yeah.
Perfect.
And I get to be, inside now, but still as a fan of the band, right?
Yeah.
So I'm watching everything unfold. Like, I've never paid attention to comments and stuff so much in my life because I'm just like, what do all the other Anberlin fans think about this? And so I'm just right there with them. Like, when I'm on stage, I literally feel like I'm on stage and in the crowd at the same time. It is the craziest, coolest feeling thing in the world.
Now here, will you be jumping into the crowd during your set tonight, though?
To be totally honest, when I was on tour with Memphis, I fell off of a stage and broke 2 ribs.
Oh my God.
It was one of the most. I also partially tore my MCL. And I fractured a vertebrae in my lower spine.
Oh my God.
All in one fall. So now I'm like pretty careful.
That's fair.
It'll just take some time to get over like the fear of the edge of a stage. But like even getting on a riser and stuff now, I have that like
spatial
that
awareness.
thing that, like my brain like gives me probably a little bit more of that fear chemical than other people would feel because I've been through it,
You don't have that risk have that risk over there where you're like, I could just jump off of this plane right now and be fine.
Yeah, for sure.
They say, hey, you kind of did that and it didn't end up working.
And I miss that. I do miss the stage dives, and I think I'll get back to it. But for now, I'm like, let's just make sure that I don't personally cause the 14 people on this bus to lose their jobs because I decided to jump, in an instant. So that's where we're at.
That's understandable. You also recently just released a single called Walk Alone. That's the one that you are on. And I think it was really funny, the music video. It starts with new Anberlin singer auditions. And I thought that was like kind of tongue-in-cheeky. And I thought and like watching the video where you're auditioning people and then you come on and you're like, hey, I'm here. I think that was such like an interesting and just like kind of funny way to take it for this. So when you were developing this and kind of not transitioning your sound, but updating your sound a little bit more, what kind of went through your guys' minds?
So that's a two-part question. So the song itself, we'd written a long time ago, and I think initially we were like, it had a very throwback Anberlin vibe to it, and much different than anything we'd already released on Silverline and the Convinced EPs. And I think our initial response was like, I don't know if this is going to work with our new material. But as these things started developing, as we worked on that song more, as Matty sang on it and wrote to it, we were like, this would be a really cool way to introduce the fan base to Matty, having it feel like kind of throwback Anberlin mixed with like the new Anberlin sound, right?
Yeah.
And then I think our approach to the video was just like, let's make it fun, let's make it very hyper self-aware. That's the best thing you can do, is just kind of like take the wind out of any critiques when you're already making the critique yourself. And like Steven was in the video in like a mustache and a wig and whatnot. Like this, like it's just a fun community thing of being like, yeah, we get it, it's a crazy thing, but let's just have fun with it. And we've never done that. Anberlin's never had really done a fun video. We're always very serious, so that was kind of our approach to those two things.
Yeah.
And it was super fun to make.
So fun.
It looked like a fun
Every
time.
single one of those people that were in the video as like auditioning were just awesome people. Just getting to hang out with like rad fans that just wanted to be a part of the project, and we found out after the fact, just on the YouTube comments, that one of the girls in the video was on American Idol, and we were like,
hello.
It was cool though, and there was actually like some real talent there that day too. Like I saw some stuff, I was like, oh wow, I was like, don't steal my job. It was cool though, it was fun, a lot of fun.
The longer the day went on, as we were shooting, we're just like, oh my gosh, this is like, I don't think if we start shooting a video, you never really know how it's going to work. So as the day went on, we're just like, holy smokes, this is like the best thing we've ever done. We need to only shoot videos like this. Just fun, lighthearted. You look at Foo Fighters videos and they're just very tongue-in-cheek and funny for the most part, because they don't take themselves that seriously. I mean, we do take our art seriously, but at the same time, everyone in this band, we're pretty laid back. And
yeah, it feels like a waste to not have some funny stuff every now and again when the band is full of like funny guys. Like these guys in this band are hilarious, you know, and we only get to see that on the inside. And so to put that out there for people to kind of like, you know, get a little flavor of the sense of humor is pretty awesome. I thought it was cool.
The first question, what is the most emo song you are listening to right now?
I mean, we're hearing Hawthorne play every single night, right? So,
that's a great answer.
So
Gets more emo as the
we actually said
lineup
in Meet and
goes.
Greet the other day that it's like the music that we're listening to right now is like sound check, and like whatever front of house engineer decides to like test the PA with and stuff like that. It's not like we have this time when we're on tour to like just sit down and just like jam some tunes. You know, there's a lot going on, and so it's kind of whatever is in the background, the soundtrack of our lives is kind of what we're listening to. So.
You don't throw anything on in the van when you're driving to the next stop? What's the road tunes?
So we will sit up here, and we've got like a UE boom, and we'll like pass the playlist basically. So everyone picks a song, and you just keep going around in circles, and we'll kind of pick genres and say, hey, we're kind of sticking to this, which Joey never does.
Yeah, it just ends up being a lot of Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Bruce is pretty emo, though.
He's pretty emo.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and we've also, you know, like we're working on stuff, and we've got demos that we'll jam, you know, like together as well, just get everyone's vibes and stuff like that. So, most emo thing is Hawthorne's set. That is definitely what we're. That's the most emo thing that we're jamming right now for sure.
It makes so much sense.
Yeah, it does.
All right, our next question is, what was the inspiration behind Walk Alone as a single?
I mean, I think I touched on it a little bit earlier, was, you know, as the song was developing, there were these conversations of, is this usable now in the current context of Anberlin music? So we just kind of made decisions and had conversations, and once it started reaching a certain point, we were like, no, this should definitely be one of the songs. The melodies were killer. The vocals he tracked to it were killer, and it just slowly developed into being like, yo, this should be the first release.
Even though the music video is fun and lighthearted, the song is serious. I am somewhat of a hope enthusiast, right? I'm always chasing a smile, and for me to join the picture and the first thing to come out be something that is full of hope, you know, basically like the friend you always needed. It's that's the concept of the song. The person in your life that you wish that you had, that you could reach out to, that would remind you that you're not alone in what you're going through. I was like, oh my gosh, like this is right up my alley. And with an upbeat, you know, up-tempo kind of thing, it's like that concept works really well. And so it felt natural. It felt right. Steven, the singer of this band, you know, this was his idea for me to join the band. And I know that he and I see eye to eye on chasing hope and, you know, trying to even create moments of hope for people. So the whole thing, it just gelled together really well.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
This next question is, how was or is the music scene in the city where you're from? So I don't know if it's the same city or different cities, but how is the scene there?
It's a cool question for sure. Tampa, how is it, dog?
Tampa does have a good music scene. Well, I grew up in Seattle, right? So and then I lived in LA, I lived in San Diego. I would say it's different from those cities. I mean, you know, LA is obviously a metropolis for music. But, you know, there's constantly shows. I live in St. Pete, which is, Tampa Bay is basically Tampa, Clearwater, St. Pete. That makes Tampa Bay. Yep. St. Pete's just got a thriving art scene, a bunch of venues, you know, a lot of national acts come through. So we're never starved for like tours or bands coming through or events happening. It's a very art central city that I live in. So I feel pretty good about it.
Yeah, I live in Nashville, so
not a lot of music going on there.
Yeah, not a lot of music. Honestly, like for rock and metal, I feel like I have a really hard time keeping my finger on the pulse of when it's hot and when it's not. You know, like because Memphis has had shows there where we've been like, oh my gosh, like how is that not incredible? We're in Music City, and then we've had shows where we're like, okay, wow, like the city is on fire for the band right now. And right now in this moment, like I feel a lot of buzz around Memphis Mayfire, and I feel a lot of buzz around Anberlin. You can just like look at statistics on your social media that are geotagged, and it's like, well, this is where this is coming from. And I definitely see a lot of hype for both bands in Nashville specifically.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah. Plus, like, I always hear you guys on like Octane, so I'm always like, oh yeah, like they're popping up, like they're coming back, and everyone's like stoked on it.
That's awesome.
So, if you guys could collab with anybody, who would you want to collaborate with? No genre lines.
Man,
Your answer's going to be so much cooler and more hip than mine.
You think so?
Yeah.
Oh man, that's a very tough one. There's artists that I really respect and look up to, and on a personal level, I think I would enjoy collaborating with them, but I don't know how well that would work with Anberlin and how much headbutting would actually happen at that point. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah.
Because I do listen to a very broad spectrum of music from, I mean, name a genre, really. So
I've been listening to way too much Chapel Roan lately.
Yeah?
So
He finally got in on it.
Everybody want to just listen and collaborate with Chapel Roan now? Like, is that the
Hawthrone
2024
was talking
collab?
about the other day at the meet and greet. That's what they said they were listening to on their bus.
Hell
I haven't even listened to it.
Yeah, same. Yeah, I'm not like really in the loop on what's cool at all. You know, even just like pop culture in general, like the shows that people are watching, and everyone's like dropping tons of comments about like this crazy show that's on Netflix or whatever, and it's like I haven't seen a single episode. I have like this weird underlying guilt thing where it's like if I sit down to relax, I like punish myself for it, you know? So I'm constantly working, and that's not a good thing, by the way. You know, like, please don't be encouraged to be the same way. It sucks. But I mean, I will say my answer is a secret, but it is the feature that's on the new Memphis record. That's one that I've wanted my entire career, and we got it, and it's awesome. And regardless of how cool anybody thinks it is, it's the coolest thing to me.
Yeah.
It's also a cool collaboration that I always dreamed of was anything me and Anberlin related, and here we are.
Oh, dang, I was just going to say that. I've always wanted to collaborate with Matty Mullins.
Yeah.
So here we are.
Yeah, when Anberlin started and I was like, 9, they were like, I hope that we can one day.
That kid.
Yeah.
This is the coolest
That little
collab.
ginger kid, man, he's got
Like, he's
sauce.
got it over there. He's in the crowd, like, look
twinkle
at
in his
him.
eye. You're going places, kid.
All right, we'll do our last question. Obviously, we're at the 20 Years of Tears tour that you're on. Can you tell us anything else about this tour? Promote the rest of the dates for whenever this comes out. But also, are there any other plans? We know you're doing When We Were Young later this year. Playing.
Never take friendship personal.
I mess it up every time. Take friendship personal is what I was about to say. You're playing When We Were Young later this year. Never take friendship personal. But what else is on the docket for 2024 and beyond?
I mean, I'd love to be able to give you the list of dates on this 20 Years of Tears tours, but there's like 60 more days that my tech reminded me. He's like, okay, 4 down, there's 58 more shows. So
the best answer we can give is www.anberlin.com.
Yeah,
It's
seriously.
like that's like I go to the band's website
100%.
every day to get reminders of like where we're gonna be at what time. This is the longest tour I've ever done in my career. I'm assuming it's the same for you.
Besides Warped Tour. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but Warped Tour isn't 12 weeks, right?
I felt like it felt like an eternity when
Maybe
you were on
it was. Yeah. It definitely is a lengthy one. So like, you guys should go where we go. Anberlin.
I used to tell my parents, like, if you ever want any information, don't ask me. Like, don't ask me, the guy in the band, because I have people that tell me where to go when you wake up and like
Google Maps tells me every morning.
But we're doing When We Were Young later this year. There's not much more on the calendar for this year because Matty's got a busy year. I mean, God bless him, he's been on tour all year, and Memphis has had a bunch of stuff just develop, and it's got a lot going on. But we are looking towards next year. A lot of conversations going on between our managements. I mean, that's a lot to navigate when you've got a guy as busy as he is. So that we have a lot in store, a lot of really cool ideas that we're working on internationally, nationally, everything. I mean, next year is the 20th anniversary of Never Take Friendship Personal, so we are kind of looking towards maybe some touring around that.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
Sick. We're excited for it. This is awesome. I'm glad that you guys are on this tour and we got to hang out and chat with you.
Yeah.
Because
Thank you.
I was going to be here no matter what. So I'm like,
I was like,
cool
this is a great
bands.
lineup. And then I was like, oh, wow, it's Anberlin. This is one of the bands I really love that I haven't interviewed yet either. So
That's
Nice.
so cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for having us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Appreciate your time.
thanks.
Yeah.